You know that feeling, right? That slow burn frustration when some process inside your organization just grinds to a halt. Your first instinct is probably to find that bottleneck and just, obliterate it. But what if I told you that slowdown, that delay, isn't actually the problem? What if it's a message trying to tell you something really important? Let's figure out what that message is.
I mean, this is everyone's first thought. It's the gut reaction, isn't it? When something is taking too long, the simplest solution seems to be to just get rid of whatever's in the way. It feels like the fastest path to getting things done.
And you see these delays everywhere. That security review that's holding up a critical deployment, or the insane multi-step approval workflow for a request that should be simple. Or, my personal favorite, just waiting and waiting for access control to grant you the permissions you need to do your job. They all just feel like friction we don't need.
Okay, but this is where we need to pump the brakes. Because there's a huge difference between our instinct to just attack the delay and the signal that delay is sending us. It's time to look a little deeper than just the slowdown on the surface.
And this is the absolute core of it. That delay, it's not the enemy. Think of it more like a warning light on your car's dashboard. It's a flare going up, telling you that something much deeper inside the system is off.
So what's it signaling? Well, it's pointing to something we call architectural misalignment. You see, controls like a security review don't create friction just for fun. They create friction when the system they're a part of wasn't built to handle competing goals, like, say, the need to move fast versus the need to stay secure. That friction is just a symptom of a much bigger design flaw.
So this gives us a choice. It's a real fork in the road. We can either keep swatting at the symptoms, or we can step back and fix the underlying architecture. Let's take a look at what those two paths really look like. So on the left, you've got the reactive path, just attacking the symptoms. This is where we remove the control, override the policy, or add some one-off exception. It's a quick fix, for sure. But then on the right, you have the strategic path, redesigning the pathways. This is where we stop and ask, wait, why? Why is this control causing a problem in the first place? Then we can actually architect better, smarter pathways and build a more resilient system for the long haul. And this right here gets to the heart of the danger. When we just attack the symptoms over and over, we're not actually making things more efficient. We're making them more fragile. We're basically tearing down the guardrails without thinking, introducing all kinds of new risks, and making the whole system way more likely to break.
And this is why that quick win, that thing that looks like speed today, so often just becomes drift tomorrow. That temporary rush you get from overriding a policy, it leads to a slow, quiet deviation from your security standards, from your goals, from your overall stability. It's a short-term gain for a long-term pain.
So how do we get out of this trap? Well, it takes a real shift in mindset. A truly mature, resilient organization doesn't see friction as something to be wiped out at all costs. They see it as something to be understood and, believe it or not, designed intelligently.
They practice what you might call structuring friction. This is all about the deliberate, intentional design of your processes. It's about building pathways that are smart enough to handle both your normal day-to-day work and those high-urgency scenarios, baking risk management right into the DNA of the system instead of fighting it later.
And this whole thing starts by asking the right kind of questions, the architect's questions, way before a delay even pops up. For any process, you should ask, have we actually defined what our risk tolerance is here? Have we built a clear, obvious escalation path for when things go wrong? Have we designed different models for different situations, like a major incident versus just business as usual? Okay, so this brings us to the final diagnosis. And it's a simple idea, but it's a profound shift in perspective that honestly changes everything about how you see your organization and the problems you face.
First off, we have to get this into our heads. Friction is not a sign that your system is broken. The existence of a control or a review process isn't automatically a bad thing. It is not dysfunction.
It's diagnostic. That friction is handing you priceless data. It's pointing a giant, flashing arrow directly at the weakest parts of your system's design. It's telling you exactly where you need to invest your time to build better architecture.
So I'm going to leave you with this one question to chew on. Think about your own work, your own environment. Where are you stuck in that reactive loop, fighting the same fires and the same delays over and over again? Where are you treating the symptoms when you should be diagnosing the structure?